Only third and fourth in the opening round. Tony Bow and Adam Raga are separated for the heat stages. But Raga must take on young pretender Jaime Busto in a tough-looking matchup here in Heat 1 with Mikel Jalabert, the spoiler. The winner goes to the final, runner-up to the consolation, third eliminated. The 180th X-Trial in the sport's World Championship history, and certainly the most long-awaited. We get underway with round 2 at X-Trial Andorra La Vella. Mikel Jalabert first up. Big step early on in section 1, and down he slides to a 5-mark score. Tough start for Mikel Jalabert. Sections approached here in the reverse direction to what we saw in round 1, so Jalabert at a clear disadvantage, taking on effectively a brand new course layout. 6th seed, remember, from the preliminary phase. Mikel Jalabert making his first X-Trial appearance with Gas after spells with Sherco and most recently Vertigo. 5th in the world in 2018 and 19. Inexplicably disappointing last season. Finished down in 8th. So far, so good for Mikel Jalabert in Section 2 after a failure first time out. Looking to bounce back here. He's made it to the summit in his second outing. Just the descent and the exit gate now for Mikel Jalabert, who teeters forward and down he comes, and the bike collects him in spectacular and dramatic fashion. That was a nasty-looking incident there for Mikel Jalabert. Jalabert then trying to slide his way forward, overbalances, and gravity pulls him down. The bike collecting him quite nastily. And Mikel Jalabert thankfully able to walk away from that incident, but he'll take no further part in heat number 1. Jalabert then will be 6th at X-Trial Andorra La Vella in 2021. Now Adam Raga will set the benchmark with Jaime Busto to follow, and in the case of a tie, the rider with the better result from round 1 will be given the position. New rules for the 2021 campaign. Raga starts on the back foot. This the step that Mikel Jalabert failed in Section 1. Mind Mark Reaver waiting at the top of this second section as Raga makes it up but doesn't get the purchase, and he too slips down for a 5. So a challenging opening section in round number 2, and Raga here with work to do. The oldest rider in the field, 39 years of age and certainly the most experienced of the current crop. Passes Dougie Lampkin in the all-time X-Trial appearance records, his 136th X-Trial tonight. Preparing himself now for Section 2 that caught out Mikel Jalabert so spectacularly on the descent. Fancy that Raga will take his time here. It's 6 sections in 6 minutes, but they're pretty short sections compared to what we're accustomed to. So the riders have plenty of time, and Raga will use it to the maximum. Experienced campaigner, as we've said, X-Trial's all-time highest point scorer. Past the 1,500 point mark last season. Camera doing well to capture Adam Raga after Mikel Jalabert knocked it out of position in his Heat 1 efforts. Raga here with the descent, taking a slightly different approach. He's put himself on at an angle, bridges nicely to the final obstacle, and Adam Raga is through in Section 2. The first section we've seen completed successfully in this round 2. Raga with 5 marks from 2 sections then. Regular finalist in the X-Trial World Championship. He's only failed to make the final 3 times in 18 X-Trials since the advent of this current format. Hasn't been off any X-Trial podium since 2014. That's 36 consecutive podiums for Adam Raga. 4 times world champion, of course, between 2003 and 2006. Big step on the opening to Section 3. That's the key element of this one. And Raga has done it to perfection, avoiding snagging a mark for leaning, which is the main threat of Section 3, to be perfectly honest. The edge of that first block inviting a drop mark for leaning. Raga now will run along the crest of the second obstacle, carries his momentum through to the end. So Section 3 also is completed clean for Adam Raga. 5 marks at the halfway point of heat number 1. 3 sections still to go, and Raga doesn't yet know what Jaime Busto will be able to do over the course of these same sections, so he's got to keep errors to a minimum. His judgment there in section 1 couldn't quite get the height, and just as Mikel Gelabert before him failed in his opening outing. 3 sections still to come. Section 4 next up. Challenging step to start with, and Raga makes it up with aplomb and with alacrity as well. No need to take his time at this stage. He's well and truly inside the 6-minute counter. Minder watching on as Raga makes his way towards the finish. This should be straightforward. Adam Raga clean once again. That's 3 in a row for the hat-trick. 2 still to come. Penultimate section now of Heat 1 for Adam Raga. Again, plenty of time here. Adam Raga, start of section 5. Challenging surface here, slippery one. But so far, so good for Adam Raga. This section 5 in the opposite direction to what we saw in round 1 that caught out the riders to such a great extent, and no problem there for Raga. Still just 5 marks then, that's 4 cleans in a row. Really laying down the gauntlet here, Adam Raga to Jaime Busto, who will follow him. 1 section remaining. Raga taking a breath, taking on board fluids as well. Returns his focus and concentration to the second lap of the night here at Extra Andorra La Vella. Section 6. Heat 1 for Adam Raga. Riders obliged to drop down onto these blocks. You can see they're both marked with stickers. No option for them to fly straight through to the end of the section. Raga drops down then. This is another potential risk for a drop mark for leaning here. See, the block is angled away from the riders as well. Raga bridges up. Very narrow surface from which to mount his assault on the highest point of this section. Raga teeters momentarily, but he's made it up. And from here it should be plain sailing. Adam Raga, a failure in section 1. He's bounced back in the perfect possible fashion with 5 consecutive cleans to end the lap on just 5 marks. Brilliant effort that from Adam Raga. A crucial section 1 then for Jaime Busto. Failed by Adam Raga. If Busto fails as well, he'll need to be clean around the rest of the lap to qualify. Busto up, closer to the summit there of section 1, but he too comes down for a 5. So Busto now under extreme pressure. Could have placed himself in prime position for a place in the grand final, something he's managed only 3 times in the last 3 seasons. Instead, any further drop marks now for Jaime Busto, and he will lose out to Adam Raga. The pair tied now on 5 apiece. Busto then under pressure to be clean from here on in. Flies up to the top of section 2. Saw how Adam Raga really took his time in the second half of this section. And Busto, no such caution. Flies through for a clean in section 2. Now it's the entrances to sections 3 and 4 that will pose the biggest challenge here to Busto. Raga made it up superbly. Busto laying down rubber before this initial step of section 3. World number 3, of course, in 2018 and 2019. Jaime Busto, only 6th overall last season, started the season strongly enough. Up he goes, but he's landed it on the sump, and that's going to be a single mark for leaning, and that settles the result of this one, heat number 1. Adam Raga will be the man to move through to the grand final. Jaime Busto to the consolation, and Mikel Gelabert, of course, eliminated through injury. Busto makes it through to the end of section 3, but at the halfway mark in the lap, he's on 6 marks. Raga from here was clean, so no opportunity to get back on terms for Jaime Busto. And the remainder of this lap is just for pride and possibly for seeding position to the consolation final. Nothing he can do now to catch Adam Raga. Busto fresh from the news that he's signed up by Vertigo for 2022 and 23. Deal announced late September, bringing him up to 4 years with the manufacturer at its conclusion. A good time for Vertigo of late. Launched their new Nitro model in September. They're expanding their production facilities in Barcelona as well. Opening to section 4, and again it's a dropped mark for leaning, and Busto struggling here, forcing the bike over the crest. Of course, that initial obstacle angled against him, and it takes some effort to force the bike forward. Keen not to lift the bike and land it again, of course, that would have been 2 marks, but it was only 1. Kept the bike on its sump and then slid it forward and through to the end of section 4. So another drop mark for leaning for Jaime Busto, this time at the opening to section 4, moves him on to 7 marks from 4. Raga, of course, was on 5 at the same stage. Clean 2 to 6 in a row. Busto with 2 marks over the last 2 sections. And that will be the difference between them. 2 sections remaining. Section 5. Again, fast start. Busto is not a man to mess around. He tends to carry out these sections with speed. Short sections, so a little bit of a calm approach on the entrance to sections 3 and 4 might have seen him fare a little better, but it was always a lot to ask for him to be clean in 5 in a row to match Adam Raga. Strong effort from Raga, who books his place in tonight's grand final. Busto still in with a hope, of course, of a place on the podium. Section 6 then. Again, just for pride here for Jaime Busto. We saw Adam Raga teeter momentarily at the highest point of this section. Busto will drop down. Now he'll lift the front wheel up and try to fire his way up the side of this section. More or less the same line as Adam Raga before him. The cube is higher on its right-hand side, of course, than it is on the left, so least height possible. Jaime Busto, he's up, and he does it in even more fine fashion than Adam Raga before him. Bounces now on the back wheel to make his way towards the exit. Getting the angle right there, Jaime Busto. That was a beautiful piece of riding. Technical ability there from Jaime Busto on the back wheel as he positions himself for the exit gate and comes through for a clean in section 6. 3 cleans in total compared to 5 for Adam Raga. Busto couldn't make it through section 1 that would have helped his cause, and instead it's Raga who books his place for the grand final. Tied on 7 marks apiece on the opening lap as well. Adam Raga and Jaime Busto proving evenly matched in the heat stages. Raga taking a 2-mark advantage and a place in the grand final. Fajardo first up in section 1, failed by all 3 riders in heat 1. 36-year-old making his 100th X-Trial appearance tonight. Mikel Jalabert walks away. He's eliminated. Who will be eliminated from heat 2? First step here for Gironi Fajardo, and the one that's caught out the 3 riders before him in heat 1. Fajardo is up, and he gets closer to making it through than the riders preceding him. But heat 2 is down for a 5-mark score. No need for undue concern for Gironi Fajardo there. Having seen 3 other riders already fail that section. But from here on in, the difficulty level is that much lower that we saw Adam Raga come up with 5 consecutive cleans. Jaime Busto only dropped 2 marks in the remainder of the lap. Fajardo needs to keep errors to a minimum from here on in. Section 2. We saw Mikel Jalabert fail spectacularly here. Raga and Busto both through clean in heat 1. Oh, Gironi Fajardo momentarily slips backwards, manages to recover it well, and avoids a drop mark for leaning. So excellent effort that from Fajardo. Bit of a get-out-of-jail-free card played there. Looked as though he was out of it. That's going to be a drop mark for leaning. Onto the sub towards the exit gate, left foot down as well. So it'll be 2 marks for Gironi Fajardo in section 2. Scrappy start to this lap for Fajardo. The 5th seed, remember, to this second round. It was a fine performance from him in round number 1. 2 drop marks in section 2. He's already on the same score that Jaime Busto managed for the whole lap in heat 1. Section 3, remember this opening step here caught out Jaime Busto with a mark for leaning. Very steep start to section 3. Fajardo is up and Fajardo is down. Shakes his head in fury. Second failure of the lap. First rider since Mikel Jalabert to fail too. Shake of the head of frustration there for Gironi Fajardo. Knows he let that one slip because he had the reach. He was high enough, but then slipped backwards. I think he thought about jumping back to try and have another go, and then it all went wrong. Both feet off the pegs and down for a 5-mark score. Halfway mark then. Fajardo on 12. That's a big score compared to Raga and Busto before him in heat 1. Opening step then, section 4, and again straight down to a 5-mark score for Gironi Fajardo. That's 3 fiascos in the opening 4 sections. Gironi Fajardo receiving a round of applause, as much for encouragement as anything, after a very, very disappointing start to this lap. Reigning world number 3, of course, was 3rd in 2017 as well, Gironi Fajardo. 3rd in his debut season also, all the way back in 2005. Strong start to the night, as I said, only a single mark away from second in round number one, finished fifth. It's not looking good for him, though, in round two. Going to be relying on Tony Bowe or Matteo Grattarola, having a real disaster if he is to progress at least to the consolation final. First clean of the lap for Fajardo, and it's in section 5. He's made everyone wait a little bit too long for that. 17 marks with one remaining then. Can he avoid errors through this final section 6, already cleaned by both Adam Raga and Jaime Busto in heat number 1? Of course, Fajardo doesn't need to worry about the results of heat 1. It's all about the results of Tony Bowe and Matteo Grattarola to come. 17 from 5 then for Fajardo. Now in his second season with Sherco, his 5th different manufacturer in the sport. Drops down. Final step then of this section 6. And then it's a fairly straightforward exit to complete the second lap of X-Trial Andorra La Vella for Gironi Fajardo. First round was a strong performance, second round not quite as strong. Failures on the very first steps of sections 3 and 4, galling for Fajardo. Reaches and does well. Strong performance there from Gironi Fajardo, still clean in section 6. It's going to be 2 cleans in a row to finish for Gironi Fajardo, but 3 failures out of 6 leaves him on a 17 mark score. A wry smile. He won't be satisfied with that. Tony Bowe, just 4th seed to round 2. Shouldn't be too stretched by Fajardo's 17 mark total, but he will still feel under pressure, not yet knowing what kind of score round 1 shock merchant Matteo Grattarola might be able to manage. Section 1 failed by each of the 4 riders to tackle it so far tonight. What can Tony Bowe do? Well, he can complete it, and he can complete it clean. Tony Bowe in a section failed by all 4 of the riders to tackle it. Clean by Tony Bowe, and it even earns a round of applause from Gironi Fajardo on the arena floor. That was an impressive effort from Bowe. Well, that set the tone for the remainder of his night then. The 14 times and reigning world champion. Resident, of course, of Andorra. Effectively 2 home rounds for him in 2021, with X-Trial Barcelona still to come. Section 2. Well, the exit sees him fly through. Adam Raga took his time there. Mikel Jalabert, of course, came down spectacularly. Tony Bowe, it looked as though he was on a child's obstacle in a playground. No problem for him at all. 2 completed sections then for Tony Bowe, and both of them clean. The rest of the sections have been cleaned by at least one of the riders in Heat 1. This is a big opportunity for Tony Bowe to finish his second round clean. First step of section 3 completed successfully. Racing through to the end. Bowe's minder, Carlos Berneda, former minder for Takahisa Fujinami, urging calm. He doesn't need to. Tony Bowe rushing through sections 2 and 3. Well, it could be the shortest ever lap of the heat stages, the way Tony Bowe's going about his business. Halfway through, and still clean. 4th seed to round 2. I suspect he might be a little bit higher than that in the heat stages. Section 4 now. First step completed successfully. That's where Gironi Fajardo failed, remember. Failed too at the opening step of section 3. So Tony Bowe will now finish ahead of Gironi Fajardo regardless. He makes his way through yet another clean section. Brilliant performance this from Tony Bowe. Under more pressure than ever in 2021, of course, with this X-Trial world title being settled over only 2 rounds. No room for error. Anything less than a place in the final today, and he'll be relying on other riders' results going his way in Barcelona in 2 weeks' time. Section 5. First step done on the back wheel in customary fashion for Tony Bowe. A turn, which is again done on the back wheel, forces the bike forward. Tony Bowe, one of the most physical and aggressive riders in the X-Trial World Championship in terms of riding style. Spectacular just to watch Bowe on his own, let alone in competition. Can he make it a clean lap then? Section 6. Already cleaned by Adam Raga, Jaime Busto and Gironi Fajardo. Tony Bowe looking to become the 4th rider through clean. 17 marks was Gironi Fajardo's score. Tony Bowe will beat him in heat number 2. He's still clean. Fajardo failed 3 sections. Bo has cleaned all of them. One main step still to come in this section 6 for Tony Bo, just positioning himself carefully, again on the left-hand side of the block. Give himself the biggest possible run-up by putting the back tyre on the very edge of the lower block here. Up to the top of the cube now, urged on by the fans. Fine work from Tony Bo. Hardly looked stretched there in heat number 2. Tony Bo keeps it clean in round 2. Brilliant performance from him, and a perfect response to a shaky and nervous start in round number 1. Beat that, Matteo Grattarola. No margin for error now for Matteo Grattarola, who can only qualify to the final by matching Tony Bo's clean lap. And remember, other than Bo, every other rider has failed section 1, so to get through this one in particular clean is a big ask for the Italian. Tony Bo has shown the way. Can Grattarola follow? Angelo Colombo, his minder, waiting at the top of the section here for Matteo Grattarola. The toughest challenge of round number 2, and it's the very first step. On the back wheel then, leaping forward, Grattarola is almost there, but slides backwards to a 5. And that confirms that Tony Bo will be a grand finalist here at X-Trial Andorra La Vella. Nothing that Grattarola can do to recover that lost ground, with Bo clean, of course, throughout the lap. Section 2 then. Grattarola's focus now turns to beating Gironi Fajardo and taking a place in the consolation final. Fajardo scored 2 marks in this section 2. An opportunity for Grattarola to make up some ground. 17 marks, the target total. Second half of the section has provided the biggest challenge so far. Grattarola taking it in the same fashion as Adam Raga before him. Lining himself up at an angle for this descent. We saw Mikel Gelabert fall spectacularly here in Heat 1. Grattarola bridges. Momentum carries him almost past the section. How on earth has Matteo Grattarola managed to stay in this section? He was falling backwards. I really thought he was going to be down for a 5. The right foot on the obstacle. Now gets it back on the foot pegs. He'll take a mark for leaning. The left foot now goes down as well, so it'll be a 3-mark score in section 2. But frankly, that could so easily have been a 5. That was spectacular from Matteo Grattarola. He's shaking his head. He's not happy with that result. But the manner in which he scrabbled his way to the end of the section was certainly noteworthy. Now over to section 3. And after scoring a point more than Fajardo in section 2, Grattarola must now get through at least one of the 2 sections that his direct rival failed. Start of section 3, then he's up, and he's still clean, Matteo Grattarola. The step that Gironi Fajardo failed, cleaned by Matteo Grattarola. Needs to carry this through now to the end of section number 3. Fine performance that from Matteo Grattarola. He is clean. 8 marks. At the halfway point, he's 4 up on where Gironi Fajardo was at the same stage. Still 9 marks to play with for Matteo Grattarola. Section 4. Again failed by Gironi Fajardo. Matteo Grattarola. Up he goes on the first step, and again he's managed it, and again he's managed it clean. Grattarola, the only non-Spaniard to have made it to the heat stages. Could he be a podium contender tonight? Looking good for him to take a place in the consolation final as things stand. Remember, his first X-Trial appearance since December 2017, Matteo Grattarola. This only his 2nd appearance under the current X-Trial format. Another clean for him. 2 in a row now. And only 2 fiascos could now deny Matteo Grattarola a place in the consolation final. So if he makes it through either of these 2, he'll have done enough to beat Fajardo and progress to the podium shootout. Time for caution for Matteo Grattarola. This section has been cleaned by 4 riders already. Raga, Busto, Fajardo and Bo. Grattarola more than capable of booking his place here in the consolation final. Matteo Grattarola is through section 5 clean and will be going to the podium shootout to face Jaime Busto, the qualifier from Heat 1. Can't beat Busto in terms of seeding order, so this section 6 is just for pride for Grattarola. Into section number 6 then. Matteo Grattarola, rider with just 10 X-Trial appearances to his name at 33 years of age, has generally focused on his trial GP career, but reinvigorated since joining Beta, and proving this season he is the manufacturer's number one. Halfway through this section 6, 3 cleans in a row for Matteo Grattarola. Tonight his 4th top 6 finish in 11 X-Trials. This is his 11th appearance, of course. His first at X-Trial Andorra La Vella. 8 marks to score so far. Grattarola taking his time here. Did he take too long? Because down goes Matteo Grattarola. Well, he reached up high enough, and twice I thought he was going to catch the bike on the sump and remain in the section, but instead he comes down for a 5. A single section, podium shootout between Jaime Busto and Matteo Grattarola, runners-up in their respective heats. This was section 2 earlier in the night, but now it runs in both directions. Grattarola 6 marks behind Busto in round 2 after his section 6 failure, so the Italian is first up. Already guaranteed his best ever X-Trial finish, his previous best, a 5th place in Nice over 8 years ago. Will it be a first podium? That outbound direction, straightforward in round 1, clean by everyone other than Toby Martin. The return more critical, and Grattarola, who dropped 3 marks there in a scrappy round 2 effort, is clean. And that really raises the pressure on Jaime Busto. Any drop marks now from him, and it will be Grattarola who takes the final step on the podium. If Busto cleans, we go to the tie-break section to settle 3rd place. Jaime Busto, 23 years of age, from the Basque Country. Just 1 X-Trial podium so far on the Vertigo. He'd only just joined the manufacturer before the start of the 2020 season. Makes his way through to the end of the consolation final section clean. So we go to the tie-break to settle 3rd place at X-Trial Andorra La Vella in 2021. This one is section 1 from the opening 2 rounds, now in both directions. Matteo Grattarola versus Jaime Busto. And the biggest challenge of the night, because in the round 2 direction, this section was failed by everyone other than Tony Bow. A failure for Grattarola here, and 3rd place will go to Jaime Busto. The outbound direction also caught out Grattarola. 2 marks in round 1. And Busto dropped a single mark here. Tie-break section, then no room for error for Matteo Grattarola. He's got to aim for a clean, but cannot afford a failure. Up on the back wheel nicely. First direction almost complete, and Grattarola looking good enough in terms of time. Doesn't need to rush here. The main challenge of this tie-break section is the step that Matteo Grattarola is about to face. Collects his thoughts. Big step. And actually, if anything, he was closer to making it through in the previous round. Matteo Grattarola is down for a 5. Jaime Busto will complete the X-Trial Andorra La Vella podium for 2021. Busto now only riding for pride. Wants to secure that 3rd place in emphatic fashion. If he too fails this tie-break, of course, we would go to a count-back. And it is Busto who beat Grattarola by 6 marks in round 2. To finish his night on a high then, can Busto become only the 2nd rider alongside Tony Bow to make it past this challenging obstacle? Tie-break section. Jaime Busto, 3rd at X-Trial Andorra La Vella in 2021. He's going to take this step in 2 stages. Matteo Grattarola tried to carry his momentum forward and fire straight through it. Busto's going to do it on 2. Makes his way up. Jaime Busto's done it! And secures 3rd position in fine style at X-Trial Andorra La Vella. So for an 8th consecutive X-Trial, it's Adam Raga versus Tony Bow in the grand final. Tied on the opening lap, just 5 marks between them in round 2. 6 cleans out of 6 for Bow to earn 2nd starting position. But all of these sections have been ridden in the previous rounds, reducing the disadvantage for Raga in being first out. 4 of them now set to be ridden in both directions. Time then is a greater factor than it has been earlier in the night through what are pretty short sections. Section 1. This was section 6 earlier in the night. Raga and Bow both dropped a mark here in round 1, both cleaned in round 2. Adam Raga, the main step of this outbound direction. He was clean here previously. Up he goes! And the Minder is forced to catch the front wheel. Raga for a 5 in section 1. He teetered there in the previous stages but made it through, and this time in the grand final when it matters most, Adam Raga's down for a 5. That hands a crucial potential advantage to Tony Bow. Sheer frustration for Adam Raga. Tony Bow with an opportunity then to capitalise. If he's clean here, it will be a 5-mark lead with 5 sections remaining. Has generally been a low-scoring X-Trial as well, so it's not going to be easy for Adam Ragger to get back on terms unless Tony Bow too makes a mistake here in section 1. How rare errors have been down the years for Tony Bow. And there's no mistake here, Tony Bow is through. Still the return direction to come, of course, for the reigning world champion. Dropped just 2 marks all night here in Andorra in 2019. It's been a similarly stunning effort so far this evening, clean in round 2, of course, after what was a pretty nervous opening lap. Those nerves of 20 months without X-Trial World Championship competition. The cobwebs being blown away in round 2 by Tony Bow. And now in the grand final, he takes a 5-mark lead after section 1. Section 2, failed by everyone other than Tony Bow in round 2. This was the opening section during the heats and the only section that cost Adam Ragger marks on the second lap. We've seen Bow through, we've seen Busto through. Adam Ragger is the 3rd to complete these modules. Section 2 of the grand final clean. Ragger gets his night back on track after a failure in section 1. 5 from 2 then from Ragger. We've already seen Tony Bow through this section clean earlier on in the evening during the heat stages. If he can do the same again, he maintains that 5-mark lead. Every time Ragger puts in a clean, it puts Bow under pressure to maintain his advantage. Tony Bow on the back wheel. Didn't even look troubled this time around. Completes the whole section in 16 seconds. 2 cleans in a row for Tony Bow, who still leads by 5. Section 3. Cleaned by both Bow and Ragger in round 2. Ragger needs to pull another clean out of the bag here. Halfway mark in the section, easy enough for Ragger. Saw Mikel Jalabert fall spectacularly on the descent here earlier on in the night, concluding his Heat 1 performance, of course. Adam Ragger here, taking his time, and he's got plenty to play with in a short section 3. Ragger is through in 25 seconds out of the 60 allotted. And it is a 3rd clean in a row for Adam Ragger. Section 3 for Tony Bow, who still leads by 5. Needs a clean here in order to maintain that advantage. Racing through to the halfway mark, leaps to the finish, and in under 5 seconds, Tony Bow has completed section 3. That must be a record for a grand final section. 3 cleans in a row. Another section that's already been cleaned by both riders in both directions earlier in the night. Section 4. It's not going to be easy for Adam Ragger to make up 5 marks in what has been a low-scoring X-Trial throughout. In the remaining 3 sections, the time element must be taken into consideration, all in both directions. So shorter sections they might have been in one direction earlier on in rounds 1 and 2. In the grand final, the difficulty level is raised. Main step of this section 4. Adam Ragger, and he's up in straightforward fashion. Preferred a slightly different line to some of the other riders earlier on, using the crest of the second module, running along it, really showing some technical expertise there. Adam Ragger, section 4, and it's another clean for him. 3 in a row, the same as Tony Bow. The difference between them, that failure in section 1. Over to you, Tony Bow. Unbeaten in 2020, of course, with 5 wins. Still hasn't been beaten since Barcelona 2019. 9 consecutive victories, looking to make it a 10th. A win rate of 73% of his 92 X-Trial appearances, Tony Bow, who's suffered just 5 defeats in 10 seasons, and he's ridden 53 X-Trials in that period. Doesn't look like succumbing tonight. Hasn't dropped a mark since round 1. Section 4. So far, so clean. And it's 4 in a row for Tony Bow, maintaining that 5-mark advantage with only 2 sections remaining. Section 5 of the grand final. This was section 4 in the previous rounds. Both Raga and Bo dropped a mark here in round one. If Raga drops any marks here in the final, Bo will have an opportunity to seal this extra with a section to spare. Round two direction first. Real challenge there, the opening step. No great difficulty though for Adam Raga. Winner of X-Trial Andorra back in 2003, then staged a different venue, just 12 or so kilometres north of here. Was second in the first event in the Polisportiu d'Andorra in 2019. Adam Raga, return direction now of section 5. This is the final main obstacle of this section now. Raga looking to remain clean, needs to avoid dropping a mark for leaning, but he's taken one. So it's a single mark for Adam Raga in section 5, and an opportunity for Tony Bo to seal this X-Trial with a ride to spare. Raga through in 45 seconds in section 5, but it's the single drop mark that could prove pivotal. A clean here then for Tony Bo, and he cannot be caught. 6 marks his advantage with 2 rides remaining. Very different feel to X-Trial Andorra La Vella tonight. In 2019, it was the season finale with the title already wrapped up. The atmosphere much more tense among the riders this evening. Halfway mark of section 5. Step still to come that caught out Adam Raga in his penultimate ride of this grand final. If Bo can get through it clean, it will be victory in X-Trial Andorra La Vella, the 2021 season opener. Bo taking his time, he's got plenty of it. Up he goes, stays on the back wheel. One final module to come. Tony Bo wins X-Trial Andorra La Vella for 2021. A clean performance in round 2. 5 cleans in a row in the grand final. Celebrations can now begin for Tony Bo, and with a section to spare. Just for pride from here on in for Adam Raga. And this section 6 is all about the return direction. Failed by everyone other than Matteo Grattarola in round 1. Must say, looked almost impossible as well. First direction easy enough for Adam Raga. 38 times an X-Trial winner in total, but only 3 of those victories have been in the last 5 seasons since moving to TRS. Still in with a chance of taking this title. He'll need a victory, of course, at X-Trial Barcelona in a fortnight's time. Incredibly consistent performer at this level, Adam Raga. Been in the top 3 in the world every year from 2002 onwards. He was second in every 2020 round. He's second at X-Trial Andorra La Vella to start 2021. Big step to finish this grand final for Adam Raga. And the Minders forced to catch the front wheel. Second failure of the lap for Adam Raga, a single drop mark in section 5. It's an 11 mark total with which he ends the night. Can Tony Bo then get through this section to finish his evening in style? Only Matteo Grattarola has managed the return direction of this section 6 of the grand final. Adam Raga finishes on 11, even if Bo fails, he'll only finish on 5. He's been clean from heat 2 onwards. 11 consecutive cleans for Tony Bo. Can he make it a 12? Fine performance it's been from Bo, regardless of what happens here, but we know that Bo will want to end on a high. He won't want this section to elude him. Every other section he's managed to make it through at some stage here this evening. One final challenge for Tony Bo, who urges the support from the crowd. This is all about the show from Tony Bo. Turns on the back wheel, and he's up! Tony Bo completes section 6 to finish in style. X-Trial Andorra La Vella, a clean grand final from the reigning world champion, who starts his pursuit of the 2021 crown in style.
Yeah.